I'm gonna be brutally honest with you here, Mike. Given your track record, your options are gonna be extremely limited.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a job for you. Come on, sit down. Sit.
Okay, what is it?
It's a security gig.
We gather here today to lay to rest our hopes and dreams for the FNAF movie. It was a long journey to get here. Some would say it's about the journey and not the destination, but to wait 10 years for a movie to be spoon-fed a concoction of bleach and feces, it burns. It burns going down. Now, before the 14-year-old FNAF stans take out their helmets and safety vests and crucify me in the comments for besmirching the name of Freddy Fazbear, I would like to say that I am a huge fan of the games. Ever since they came out, yeah, I am very deep into the lore. Some would say even to an acoustic extent. I was rooting for the movie. I was praying to the great Lord Markiplier above that this movie would exceed my very abysmally low expectations. But alas, it seems that God spites my very existence and would like to watch me suffer for eternity. So let's start to get into the good and bad about this. Let's start out with the good. Always good to start out on a good note, because I will not be able to talk about the good things after talking about the bad things. Spoiler warning for the lobotomites who didn't know that there'd be spoilers in this video. Everybody's opinion is the same about this. Josh Hutcherson, he carried this movie for what it could be carried for. They still lost in the end, but he definitely tried. He really tried. And I appreciate that. I really do. That first scene that he was in, that very first scene where he kicks the shit out of that guy, that was fantastic. That set a really good tone for the beginning of the movie. That plus the beginning animation of like the 8-bit animation with the choir of singing children behind it. That set a fantastic mood. I was like, oh, maybe it won't be that bad. You know, it's obviously not following the lore, but hey, you know what? I don't know that. I mean, you know, Josh Hutcherson, that was great acting. I'll talk about the script later, but the lines that he was given were so unsavable, especially that one scene where he's like, all right, guys, this is funny. Come on out. You got me. Hee 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 hoo hoo hoo. Killing myself. That was really the only bad line delivery he gave. So props to you. 5 stars. I'll give you a little smooch for that. The animatronics. Everybody says that they're good. And they are. Don't get me wrong. The animatronics look fantastic. They look exactly like they do in the game, which is not bad. If the director used them to their fullest potential, he could have used different angles, different lighting to make them look creepier. I mean, the fucking eyes glowed on the animatronics, and they barely even used that in the movie, except when it was like a fully lit closet, or like, what? Good things. I'm supposed to be talking about good things. Okay, the animatronics look nice. They work nice. They're really cool to see. It was really fun to watch the behind the scenes. And also the set. The set looked fantastic. It was really fun. It was pretty accurate. It was a good translation from just seeing them on the security camera to seeing them, you know, as a functional facility. The very beginning, like the first 5 minutes where I was like, oh, maybe this won't be so bad. Maybe my expectations will be met or surpassed even. Oh, no, Luwi, you were wrong. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo was in there. He was pretty good. I never really pictured William Afton as like the goofy clown serial killer sort of guy, but I guess it makes sense. He played a very goofy kind of William Afton with like a goofy laugh and stuff. So it worked. I don't think Shaggy showed us even 6% of his power in this movie. I don't want to tempt him. I don't want to provoke the beast. Shaggy was good. Yep. It was boring. It was so boring. There was no suspense. There were like 2 jump scares in the entire fucking movie. Meanwhile, the game itself is only jump scares. Like the most basic corporate bullshit jump scares that you could do, they didn't do. Why? I don't want to say there was no suspense, but I didn't give a shit about Abby or whatever the fuck her name is, Emily, Abby. I didn't give a fuck about Vanessa. I didn't even give a fuck about the ghost kids. I wasn't attached to any of them. The only reason I was kind of rooting for Josh is because, like, you know, he was the main character and he was the only good actor. But other than that, I felt absolutely, I was not connected to any of the characters. Don't even get me started on the fucking babysitter. Who was that? That was fucking padded filler bullshit. The directing could have made this movie so much better. Even just, like, framing scenes differently, shooting specific angles, or using lighting to make things look more atmospheric. There was no atmosphere. No fucking atmosphere at all. The only thing that the first Five Nights at Freddy's game was basically jump scares and atmosphere. Like the buzzing of the lights and the wind from the fan and the, you know, the flipping up the monitor and all the sounds. Like, it was so atmospheric, and what broke that, like, really calm, quiet atmosphere was the jump scares. Like, how could you take such a beloved IP and make it so goddamn boring? I think we all knew that it wasn't going to follow the lore exactly, because Scott didn't ever want to confirm any of the lore. He said himself that he didn't want to ever, like, put a stamp of approval, canon, you know, you got this right, you got that wrong, lore sort of thing. But they could have at least used, like, the canon portions of the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. Like, yes, they did use that 5 children went missing in a pizzeria, and William Afton was the dude that did it. That's basically all they took from it. Like, there were so many more canon events that happened. Like, we know that Purple Guy dressed up as a security guard to murder the kids. We know that Michael Afton killed his younger brother. We know that William Afton was banned from the pizzeria. He was sealed inside a back room from the 3rd games. They could have used some of those actual canon events to make a story, and they just didn't. There's so many missed opportunities, even in this other side story mashup rendition, Five Nights at Freddy's remix movie. First of all, the entire game was jump scares and atmosphere. They could have made this movie first person. Like, all of the bullshit corporate, like, oh, first person found footage, jump scare palooza. Like, that's what all of the corporate suits do for every other movie. And then for this one, they're just like, no, we're gonna make it even more boring. It could have been such a great, like, first-person found footage film. Like, the games were in first person. Why couldn't the movie be? It was just such a missed opportunity. In the first 5 minutes itself, they missed a great opportunity with the Balloon Boy thing, because they established that Balloon Boy was there for some reason. I don't know why he was there. He was just the 2 jump scares, the 2 random fucking nonsense jump scares that they put in there. But he was there, so he exists. How come at the beginning, when that guard was crawling through the vents, why didn't they put, like, a fucking hi? The minute I saw it, I was like, all right, first missed opportunity. All right, let's see if it gets any better. It didn't. Like, I understand that the movie couldn't have been an exact rendition of the game, like, you're just fucking dude sitting there looking at cameras, but we could have seen, like, some first person, like, this guy just walking around in the dark. Like, maybe he's a security guard, so obviously he's got to have some body cam footage, like, if he's a cop, you know, or it would make sense if he did. So they could have just made it body cam footage of this guy walking around this atmospheric, creepy, dark pizzeria with these creepy animatronics. Like, you could do, like, the, oh, turn around, he's not there, oh, turn around, you hear some mechanic clunking, and then boom, he's right there. Like, that's what I was hoping for. That was, like, the low expectation if they didn't follow the lore. That was, like, the low Hollywood bullshit expectation that I had that it was gonna be, and it just wasn't. This was a product of the writer's strike. Oh, it was so poorly written. The lines that they give these people, it's like, do you think that the audience will know that they're ghosts? Do you think that they'll know that they're ghosts without literally having the sister character say, yes, they are ghosts? The only way that Mike finds out about any of the lore surrounding the pizzeria is because people tell him. He just asks Abby, hey, what's going on? And then she's like, oh yeah, there's ghosts. There's ghosts in the animatronics, and I can communicate with them, and also I know what happened to our brother, and they're telling me. And then Mike is like, oh, okay, I'm fine with that. And then later on, when he needs more of an explanation for why and how these ghosts are here and if Vanessa knew, he just asked Vanessa, hey, what's going on? And she's like, oh yeah, so my father was a serial killer and he murdered some children and he stuffed their bodies in some suits, and now they're here and I can't stop him, but if you want to, you can go ahead. For real? For fucking real? You couldn't have him like look at some old newspapers? You just had to take the spoon and shove it so far down our throats that it came out of our asses? Like, Five Nights at Freddy's was such a non-spoon feeding, like all the story was happening in the background sort of game. And then they took it and they were like, do you understand? Do you understand what's happening? Do you? It makes me so mad. Even some of the lines, oh my god, even when Vanessa was like explaining exactly what's happening to the audience, she's not even talking to fucking Mike. She's just looking at the camera like, this is what's going on. Even when she was doing that, there was one of the lines, oh my god, I rolled my eyes so hard. She's like, it's not just their souls that are in those machines. And there's like a 20-second pause. It's their bodies. I was like, oh my god! Why? It hurt me. It viscerally hurt me. What was that weird-ass fucking fort building scene? What fucking intern thought of that scene? And then the suits up top were like, that's what we need. That's exactly what we need. The kids are gonna love it. They don't want something scary. They want to see a fun Freddy Fazbear. They want to see Freddy Fazbear making forts, and they're so fun. And they're just children after all. No. Fuck you. Fuck you. Wasn't scary. Not scary. We never see the animatronics move in the game. The only time we see them move when Foxy's running down the hallway or when the jump scare at the end if you get caught. That's the only time we see them move, and it's not even really like moving. It's more of just like a boo, you know, like a blah. The way they move in the movie, they shouldn't have made them move. Or maybe they should have made them move off camera. They're just so slow and clunky and goofy looking when they move. It's so unmenacing. Like maybe they could have done something with strobe lights. The lights don't work. Maybe a light was flickering. You know how when you have strobe lights at a party? When you're at a party and they use strobe lights, everybody looks like they're dancing in like 5 FPS. You know, it looks cool. It looks fun and quirky. They could have done something like that with the animatronics, just so we didn't see them just slowly, just beep, boop, boop, bop, beep, beep, skirt, you know. Maybe they could have made them move faster off camera. Any of the cheesy Hollywood techniques that they use in every other movie, like I said, could have been used for this one, and they just didn't. But they didn't substitute it for anything else. They're just like, oh, we'll just make it not scary. The whole entire plot with the sister, this fucking weird custody battle subplot, it didn't have to be in the movie. It didn't have to be here. There was no reason. It contributed absolutely fuck all to the story. It stuffed in a horrible actress that completely ruined the vibe. Why can the sister see ghosts? How is she connected to these children at the pizzeria? She's not. She has no connection to them. And people are gonna say, oh, well, the movie's, there's a sequel coming out, so you can't say anything because you don't know. Maybe they're gonna explain. I shouldn't have to wait for a sequel movie for them to explain their basic plot. Please give me anything, something. I'm not gonna say that she was the only reason, but she was the major reason that this film sucked giant hairy gorilla balls. I don't know if it was just the direction she got. Maybe it's because, you know, child actor, then you have bad directing, bad writing. It was just a typhoon of shit for this poor child actor. Then we have Vanessa. Again, we didn't need her. Vanessa wasn't even in the Five Nights at Freddy's like canon game. She was in the fucking one-off other corporate BS Five Nights at Freddy's open world bullshit thing. Who are you? You don't belong here. It's the women. Let's get rid of all the women. Fuck the women. Along with the sister, the babysitter subplot, they just stuffed it in for fucking runtime and to show you that the animatronics could kill people. Yeah, that scene with the, oh my god, she did the you see that? I'm losing my mind. Like, yeah, the effect was cool. It was cool that you saw it in a shadow. I feel like they could have used that on something way more plot-driven, other than just, hey, look, random lady, go to Fazbear. And the dude who was going to mess up the place, who was going to fucking ransack the place, he's like, I'll do it for $2 $2,000. $2,000 won't pay for a fucking flight to a different country. Like, how are you gonna escape your crimes? Not to mention there was like 5 fucking people that went in there with them, so he'd be splitting $2,000 like 5 ways. Like, what are you gonna do with $500? What are you gonna do with $350? That won't even pay for the bail that you need to get out of jail once they catch you on the security cameras that you know that they have. There was just so many buzzwords and like, oh, you remember this? You remember this? You remember when this happened? You remember when? You remember the bite? Did you remember the bite of 87? Was that the bite of 87? Come on, kids, repeat me. Was that the bite of 87? The subplot with the little brother, it could have tied in so much better than they made it. Well, I think we all thought that he was going to be an animatronic at the end. Maybe they didn't make him an animatronic to subvert our expectations, but it just led to nowhere. Like, yeah, William Afton was his killer, I guess, but he only found that out because William told him. And he was asking the ghost children of the animatronics, like, do you know what happened to my brother? Like, he disappeared at a campground. Why the fuck would some children that went missing in a pizzeria know what happened to your brother that went missing at a campground? It was so messy and weirdly tied in. It was just not good. Not good. I'll actually tell you what I would have done if I was writing this movie. It would have been way better than whatever the fuck this was. So I get asked this question a lot, like, oh, Luwi, I bet you couldn't do any better. What, you want the movie to just be some guy looking at cameras and flipping the monitors up and down? No. Obviously, that wouldn't make a good movie. Let me tell you what I think would have made a good movie. I thought of this 2 seconds ago, last night at 12 p.m. on my Five Nights at Freddy's hyperfixation grind in the shower. So, what I think that they should have done is that they should have made Michael Afton the security guard. And I thought that's what they did originally, because when the guy didn't say his last name, I was like, oh, he didn't say his last name because it's Michael Afton. We don't ever get to hear his last name until the very end. And then the very end is just like Mike Schmidt. Like, we're supposed to fucking know who that is. Like, I thought it was gonna be Michael Afton. It should have been Michael Afton. So it should have been Michael Afton. His brother went missing when he was younger, and he's still fucked up about it now. He can still have those dream sequences. He can still have those mentally ill factor of obsessing over his brother. The dad can still leave. The mom can fucking kill herself for all I care. I don't fucking know. They just said, like, the dad went out for some dip and cigarettes, and the mom would die of, like, cancer or something. No mention of a sister. I get that in the original lore. I'm not following the original lore because, again, like I said, Scott never really wanted the lore to be confirmed for these games. Just, like, bits and pieces I'm pulling from. So no mention of a sister. He could potentially maybe have a sister for, like, sequel bait because of, you know, his sister Elizabeth, but I digress. So Michael is still severely mentally ill from the trauma of his brother and his mom and his dad. So he can't hold a job. Obviously, that whole first scene where he beats the shit out of a security guard, that was great. Keep that. He's struggling to find a job, and the job recruiter can notice Michael's last name, and that's why he doesn't say it. He notices his last name and be like, oh, wait, aren't you William Afton's kid? Or maybe not even say that. Maybe just be like, hey, I have this security guard. I thought that you might like this job for some reason. I don't know. Maybe you'd like it. And show them that it was his dad's old pizzeria. And because Michael wants to know what happened to his brother, maybe he'll find clues there, he thinks. Maybe he'll get some closure on why the restaurant shut down, what happened to those kids. He's still very curious about all of this. He's still very messed up in the brain from all of it. So he takes the job. That's why he is staying there with these things that are trying to kill him. And then throughout the movie, he slowly uncovers, like, what happened to the children, what happened to his brother, maybe through the dream sequences, maybe through, like I said, old newspapers. He can find out. Maybe he fucking stumbles in on the bodies of the kids in the suits. Maybe through, like, dream communication or something. I think that it'd be kind of cool if Michael, from being in the pizzeria, somehow, like, maybe he lost his memories or something about killing his brother, and, like, the guilt of him killing his own brother by accident, those memories got repressed somehow, and as he's in the pizzeria, all those memories become unlocked. It would make a lot more sense with the it's me sort of thing. Like, maybe he sees, I don't know, imagine, like, a chase scene, and the animatronics chase him into a closet, and then in the closet he looks, and it's like this really dark, long tunnel, and then Golden Freddy's just sitting there, and maybe, like, it's me flashes on the screen, or it's written somewhere on the walls, and then, like, all of his memories come flooding back of him fucking slopping his little brother into Freddy's mouth, and You know, like, we don't know who Golden Freddy is. We think it's the little brother in the games, in the lore. Maybe from, like, the mental distress of Michael getting his memories back and the little brother's ghost getting all worked up because he sees the guy that killed him. Maybe William Afton comes out of the walls of the pizzeria, and it can be shown that, like, oh, he's the one controlling the animatronics because he was mad at his son for killing his other son, and then that's why he wanted to convince the other ghost children to kill him. And it would make sense that the other ghost children would want to kill him because they were killed by someone who was dressed as a security guard, and this guy's dressed as a security guard, and also William Afton's son, so probably looks like him. And then it could just play out how the end of the movie went, except for Vanessa. Vanessa can go fuck herself. Vanessa doesn't exist. Fuck you. Maybe it could have ended with Mike burning down the pizzeria, and then you could still get the "I'll always come back" line. Maybe you could get the Michael, don't leave me here. They could have done something with that. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the movie. Definitely made me lose my mind. Definitely made me want to pull my eyes out of my socket and put them in a blender, make them into a smoothie, and feed them to a bunch of homeless children. It made me sad.